what happens now? We have the first one of free conversation with some of our experts. The first conversation is a conversation between Bjarke Angrinsson, I hope I pronounced the name properly, anyway, and Emmanuel Mutungi, same thing.
Here we are together, meeting and discussing design and this project with Dr. Emmanuel Mutungi. So Dr. Mutungi is a senior lecturer at the Department of Art and Industrial Design at the Faculty of Vocational Studies at Chambogo University in Kampala, Uganda. There he teaches community-based design projects, and he also teaches research methods as well as hands-on sculpture to his students at Chambogo at both the undergraduate and master's graduate level. He would describe himself, I guess, as a socially minded, community-based designer, and his PhD is in visual anthropology. Dr. Mutungi has been involved in a wide variety of projects of a social nature in East Africa, and is a member of the Network of Africa Designers. He's thus well connected and experienced, and I think perfectly suited to be the gendered design and STEAM regional expert for Africa. He's intimately familiar with the intersections of STEM and art fields, working in many interdisciplinary aspects at Chambogo and also with other universities. So the GDS, the Gender Design in STEAM project, all these projects are about gender design, and the focus is lower middle income countries. What do you think that the lower middle income countries in your region can add in general to this evolving area of research? How can they benefit? How can they also perhaps create new knowledge and insight that can also benefit elsewhere?
Thank you, Professor Bjarke. It's nice for a wonderful introduction. I feel great. Most importantly is that we are friends and we are family friends. The meeting of 2015 opened so many doors, and I think it has opened so many avenues that we are interacting and cooperating as not only professionals, but also intercultural cooperation. So I thank you in that regard. Back to the question you have set to me I remember very well in 2018, I guess, in November, somewhere there, when you contacted me about this upcoming project. I'm sure it was 2018.
Yeah, about then.
Yes?
Around then, yeah.
Around then, yeah.
Close to 2 years, yeah.
I was in Sweden. I was attending an intellectual property training in Sweden. And we had a discussion, and very fast we were able to put things together, and we put up the proposal, and we had a discussion. And I remember when we started, it was STEAM, and we had to call it STEM because we had to bring in the element of design and art. And since then, we have moved on well. But then, back to the question is the projects about gender design and the focus on LMICs, and if the LMICs have something to add to this research, I think yes, they have something to add, because the whole issue of gender design, I think, much as it's a new area, I think we are reinventing it. I think it was originally, and then we went into different waves of development We went into industrialization, we went into colonization, went into independence, we went into industrialization. Now, when we are reaching the apex, we are going to say we are almost finishing all the avenues. Now we are going back to see what is it that we forgot. And what we forgot was the gender design. Now, this is the design that involves all of us.
Yes, I remember really well that I went into your presentation that you were giving to your students about indigenous knowledge. And I remember the case you were making was about these woven baskets that were made in Uganda. And as a Westerner, you know, I would look at the basket and say, it's a beautiful basket. The handiwork is extremely well done, and you know, you can tell it's passed on for generations and so on. But you also spoke about how the qualities of the material were good for the food that you were preparing for this particular basket that you were eating from. Do you remember that presentation? Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And why I'm saying that we are actually really, it's a rebirth of what actually was originally the practice of the people, is that design in LMCs, and particularly in Africa, was not it's not a new thing. Design has been part and parcel of the human society from the days of the caves.
So Emmanuel, I think an important question for the whole world, and certainly what makes, you know, this project interesting is that we see these, you know, studies on gender and STEM fields and some real innovative aspects in how, you know, how issues are explored and approached differently because of lack of gender bias, right? So how do you think, and what's your hope for these projects under the GDS funding for the recipients to do what they normally do, their own expertise, but to do it somehow differently under the lens of gender design? What do you think the opportunity is, and how can they perhaps lead by example in something that they normally do?
My thinking would be, it's not about doing things differently or doing them better. What I would expect the GDS project to do or to achieve is to make sure that whether you are in food processing, in alternative energy, in transport, in whichever area, the fish people from Nigeria would be this, and you are from, take an example, you are from the engineering, you are not from the design element. I would love to see how your project evolves or how you skew your project to make sure that you integrate those aspects that will benefit the gender or address the gender issues. For example, if you are making a generator or you are making the drying of fish, how is this generator that you are making going to support the survival or the operation, the income generation, or the livelihood of the women in that locality? What we want to see is how do you, this practice has been there. They have been drying fish for ages. How do you support them? How do you come up with a prototype, with a design, with a recommendation that make it easier for these women that have been in this practice for so many years to have their work done more efficiently, very fast, so that their livelihood can improve. So that after long after the project has closed, then when we go to that region and we see the women are living a different life altogether because of that small intervention that you did in your project. That's what I would want to see in the projects.
And I think your point is, if I may extrapolate a bit, is that the only way you know what the implications will be on their livelihood and their business is by involving them from the beginning in this discussion.
Yes.
What does this need to do? How can it benefit them and not just become a piece of technology that takes away their livelihood, but rather helps them? And this is what we mean by socially relevant projects.
Yes. You need to go there. First of all, we don't want, it wouldn't be right for you to have read the project, the literature about a certain practice, and then you come up with an intervention which the people will not own. Why not work with them and you go through the work processes, you do a pedagogical approach, and then at the end of it all, the intervention that you do is owned by the people that the project is meant to benefit.
So do you have some welcoming words to the recipients of the GDS project, particularly the recipients in Africa and the people you will be working with as their advisor, and how you can help?
Well, thank you so much. My word to the people that have received the award, the people that I will be working with, and then the entire group of our project is that this is a time to bring out the very salient issues that affect both of us, the gender design, both women and male, to bring them to the table, support each other, support indigenous knowledge, support indigenous skills and materials, and take them to, this is an opportunity that IDRC and Carlton has given us to make sure that we package what we have in a better way, in a right way, and showcase them to the global community and say, this is what we are able to do. That's the richness, this is the resource, this is the power, this is the skill that we have, and we want to share with everyone. That's
Wonderful.
what I want everybody to do, so that we work to our best. We don't look at how much we have gotten. It's seed money, but it's very important money. We are trying to build a community of researchers, a community that will take issues of gender design to another level, so that the future that comes after us enjoy or benefits from the designs that will be socially inclusive, and everybody will feel great and better, feel privileged to live in the world.
Well, I thank you, and again, we're so happy that you're there in Africa, being a regional expert, assisting people at closer level, more knowledge about the local situation and the issues. It's a big help to the project, and and you're also intimately involved with the core group here at Carleton. So we're so happy to have you, be part of this team.
Thank you.
To avoid connection issues and for you not to rely on our connection that sometimes has actually some issues, we decided to record this conversation previously, and you can access them through the link that we posted in the chat. The idea is for you to watch the conversation. In the meanwhile, you can post some questions in our chat, and then we will come back in 15 minutes and answer the questions. This material will be provided, as I said, on the YouTube channel and later on the website, where you can find also the videos that you made, and in which each one of you is introducing themselves and their project. So it might be interesting to understand who we are working with, who we can connect to. Okay, so we will see each other back here in 15 minutes. And if you have any question, please, both for Emmanuel and technical question, post them in the chat. Okay, everybody is back. Probably yes. Bjarki, do you want to lead the question session? The question session.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I know that Emmanuel is here on the call. I don't know if he's still here. Emmanuel, are you still here? We didn't lose you? I know I saw him before. Emmanuel? Okay, he's here, but in any case, I guess if you get connected, Emmanuel, you can answer the question. So now, are the questions in the chat, Chiara?
Yes, I'm not sure if people posted any. I posted one though, so maybe that can be
Okay, you posted one. Thank you. Okay, maybe you can state your question again, Chiara.
Yes, I think my question is, Imona, you say that design is not a new thing, and I totally agree with you. There are design before the word design. So I wonder if, and I spelled it wrong, if non-Western informed design of African countries, the one that you know about, or countries located in Africa, are more inclusive from a gender perspective. So if those practices were more inclusive than design, the dominant design that nowadays maybe people are practicing.
So this is really a question for Emmanuel, and I can see he's there, but I'm not hearing him. Emmanuel? So in our discussion, I think the point that that Emmanuel was making was that traditionally and historically there was no such, or there wasn't so much perhaps gender bias and gender roles in certain aspects, at least when it came to design of everyday things that were used in society. And I think that was his main point, and that we are, we've gone through all these episodes of colonialism, and he's here. I saw him briefly. Emmanuel, we can't hear you. Hello, we can't hear your microphone. That's unfortunate. So yeah, so having gone through these periods of colonialism and Western education and so on, we are now ripe to re-examine this from a historical perspective as well. And And I think that's what's so interesting also, in my experience working with Dominic as a co-PI. She represents the historical aspects, and I also found that very fascinating to hear the historical aspects from Amina and her presentation. So that's probably all I can say about it. And I don't know if Emmanuel's managing to connect here, but this is what we're facing is the technical issues. So I'm not sure if that addresses your question, but maybe we have some other questions.
Hello, maybe I can make a comment on the presentation. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can I make a comment?
Yes.
Yes, on the presentation. Well, I wanted to thank you, Amina, for the presentation. I think that she made a very interesting wrap up of the process in which we are now. But I would like from this global south, of the Latin American global south, to say that for us, the main framework to approach to gender design is to analyze the vision of the patriarchal society. Because, I mean, from the feminist epistemology that is being developed in Latin America and we are discussing, patriarchy is the base and is what is underlying in the colonial, in the racism, in the neoliberal conditions. Are you listening to me? I'm not sure. Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So we think that it is important to frame not only in the Eurocentrism and not only in masculinities, and maybe this is a very provocative approach, but it's in patriarchy, because there are, and as we said, some feminists that are in this debate in our region. We said that patriarchy is not only the masculine behavior or the masculine approach to development and values in society, but also many women are very patriarchal. I think that Thatcher is a very good example, closing all the child care institutions in England and having women back home to take care of children. So this is one important approach for us, also regarding design and also regarding all the gender design and the gender architecture and the feminist city, as we like to name. So what is in place is the otherness, is the value of the equal, and the equal is the young white men here or there. And even when we are a mixture and not responding to the white, the proper white image of the white man, but even though in here also, and I imagine that there are in all the region this conception, yeah, that denies the difference and that put values to the equal, which is a kind of a pathology. So when we discuss also design, we are thinking from the feminist point of view. We think we have to put inequalities, as Amina introduced us, because we are living in an obscene, unequal society. but also we need to place the omitted individual and which are the omitted ones. And the omitted ones are women mainly, but within the concept of women and far from a conception of a binary world, there are all the intersections that give the diversity of the women in plural and the diversity, meaning race, ethnicity, social conditions, age, sexual option, whatever. Yeah. So we have to put in also in the center of the agenda the concept of the diversity, and probably when we put those concepts and question the patriarchal, colonial, and neoliberal racist society, we can have a more holistic approach, as Amina proposed it as. Just a comment.
Okay, thank you for your comment. It was insightful, and I think gave us a lot to think about, and also a localized, contextualized perspective for sure.